All right, so we're diving deep into AI today.
This sounds like a plan.
You seem really interested in figuring out where it's all headed, what it all means.
Yeah, exactly. It's moving so fast.
You've got a ton of material here.
Right.
And it looks like our main focus is going to be this interview with Sumedha Rai.
Okay, yeah. A data scientist and AI strategist.
Right, from the About That Wallet podcast. And she's had, like, the most interesting career path. Finance, the Central Bank of India, then a master's in AI at NYU.
Oh, wow. And she even worked with Dr. Jan LeCun. Talk about being in the right place at the right time. He's like the godfather of convolutional neural nets.
Right, which for anyone who doesn't know are like a huge deal in deep learning and computer vision.
But what I think is so cool is that her career path, it really shows how AI is impacting like every industry. It's not just this tech thing anymore.
Totally. And she's not just thinking about it, she's actually building things.
Yeah, she's got her hands dirty, like
Yeah.
developing fraud detection models for fintech companies. And then she's also working with NYU's Langone Medical School on this super cutting edge research using AI in, get this, neurosurgery.
Neurosurgery. That's wild. I read that they're using something called large language models, or LLMs.
Yeah, LLMs are like these powerful AI systems that can, process and generate human language. It's the tech behind ChatGPT and all those other tools that are like blowing everyone's minds.
So, like, they can actually understand medical records and stuff.
Exactly. And, like, assist surgeons during super complex procedures or even help personalize treatment plans based on a patient's medical history? Crazy, right?
It sounds kind of terrifying, honestly. Like, how do we know these AI systems are being trained on data that's, accurate and unbiased? Especially in medicine, we're talking about life or death decisions.
Right. And that's a huge point that Sumedha makes. She stresses that, like, even with the best AI, humans still need to be in the loop. It's not about replacing doctors. It's about giving them better tools and making sure those tools are used responsibly.
Okay, so it's like AI can help, but it's not taking over completely.
Yeah, more like AI as a partner, not a replacement. And she talks about using like quantifiable measures of fairness to make sure AI systems aren't, accidentally discriminating against certain groups, like, say, an AI model used for loan approvals. If it was trained on biased data, it could end up denying loans to qualified applicants just because of their background, which would be a huge problem.
Totally.
Yeah.
Okay, so what about this whole thing about AI taking our jobs? I mean, I know people are freaking out about it.
Right. It's a common fear, for sure. And Sumedha actually addresses it head on. She thinks, like, instead of being scared, we need to embrace AI, learn how to use it, because that's going to be key to success in the future job market.
So instead of being replaced, it's more like our jobs are going to change.
Yeah, exactly. Some jobs might be automated, sure. But AI will also create new opportunities, and it'll free up people to do more creative, more fulfilling work. Like, imagine if AI could handle all those boring data entry tasks. We could focus on solving problems, innovating, actually using our brains.
That would be amazing. So she's not saying, like, run for the hills.
Not at all. She actually gave some really practical advice for people who want to get into the field.
Oh, like what kind of advice? I'm always curious about that.
Well, she said, first, you need a solid foundation. Math, statistics, computer science, those are your building blocks. And then she recommended some great resources like Andrew Negg's courses on Coursera.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of those. They're supposed to be good.
They are. And then there's Professor Canciani. He has all this amazing free stuff online. It's really great for anyone who wants to start learning about AI.
So it's not just about being like a tech genius. Anyone can learn this stuff.
That's what she says. It's about being curious, being willing to learn, and understanding how AI can be a powerful tool for solving problems and creating new things.
That's awesome. But okay, we've talked about all the potential. What about the downsides? Like, what about the use of copyrighted material to train these AI models? That seems like a legal nightmare waiting to happen.
Yeah, you're hitting on a major issue there. There are like actual lawsuits happening right now over whether it's legal for companies to train AI models on copyrighted books, articles, whatever, without permission. Some authors are even suing OpenAI, the company behind ChatGPT.
Wow, so it's not just a theoretical debate, it's getting real.
Totally. And it raises a big question. How do we balance the need for massive amounts of data to train these AI models with the rights of content creators? It's messy.
It sounds like it. Okay, and then there's the whole privacy issue. How do we protect people's personal information in a world where AI is constantly, collecting and analyzing data.
Yeah, privacy is a big one. And Sumedha pointed to the EU's General Data Protection Regulation, the GDPR, as a good example of how to protect data privacy. It gives people more control over their personal data and requires companies to be transparent about how they're using it.
That makes sense. But she also mentioned that the U.S. doesn't have any federal data privacy laws, right?
Right. And that's creating problems, especially for companies that operate in multiple states. Every state has its own rules. It's a mess.
So what's being done about that? Is anyone trying to fix it?
Well, there's this new executive order on AI from the White House. It could be a step towards establishing clearer national guidelines, but it's still early days. We'll have to see how it all shakes out.
So basically, there's a lot of uncertainty about how AI will be regulated here in the U.S.
Exactly. And that uncertainty just adds another layer of complexity to an already incredibly complex field. But one thing's for sure, the conversation around AI is just getting started, and we all need to be part of it.
I like that. So before we move on, I wanted to touch on some of the research Sumedha has done herself. Like she worked on something called keyword spotting.
Oh, right. Which is super important for voice assistants like Alexa or Siri. You know how they recognize when you say, hey, Siri or whatever.
Exactly. Imagine trying to talk to your phone and it can't even figure out what you're saying.
It wouldn't be very useful. So she actually used deep learning to improve the accuracy of keyword spotting, even with all the background noise and stuff.
That's really cool. It's amazing how much AI is already impacting our lives, even in ways we don't really think about. And it sounds like Sumedha's work is pushing the boundaries of what's possible, from finance to healthcare to how we interact with technology. It's all changing.
And what I find really impressive is that she's not just focused on the technical stuff. She's really thinking about the ethical and social implications of AI, too.
That's crucial.
Yeah. She's not just building cool tech. She's thinking about how it will affect people's lives and trying to make sure it's used for good, which is something we should all be thinking about.
Absolutely.
And it's really inspiring to see how Sumedha embodies that idea of lifelong learning. Even with all her knowledge and experience, she's always looking for new perspectives, pushing herself to learn more.
Yeah, I noticed that. She mentioned in the podcast how much she loves going to conferences, meetups, things like that, not just to present her own work, but to, soak it all in.
She said she really gets a lot out of those academic research conferences. She feels like they give her a more holistic view of the AI landscape. You know, how all the different areas of AI, like natural language processing, knowledge graphs, all that stuff, how it all fits together.
Right, it's like seeing the big picture, how all the pieces connect. Did she have any tips for making the most of those events? Because they can be overwhelming sometimes.
Oh, absolutely. She said the key is to actually engage, have conversations, ask questions. She thinks that's where the real learning happens, through dialogue, bouncing ideas off each other, challenging your own assumptions, all that good stuff.
That makes sense. It's easy to just passively listen to presentations, but those side conversations, that's where you really get the insights.
Exactly. And she had some great advice for anyone who's, maybe a little shy about asking questions.
Oh yeah, a lot of people are, including me sometimes.
She said, just do it. Don't be afraid. Because it shows you're engaged, you're genuinely interested.
It's like you're showing initiative.
Exactly. And she even said that, even in job interviews, when they ask, do you have any questions for us? It's not just about impressing them.
Oh, I never thought of it that way.
It's a chance for you to learn more about the company, the team, the work environment. She encourages people to ask specific questions, about the projects they'd be working on, the challenges, even the day-to-day stuff.
It's like you're interviewing them right back. I love that.
Totally. And she also said, don't be afraid to think outside the box when it comes to job opportunities. Don't just focus on the big tech companies or the trendy startups.
Right, because AI is everywhere now.
It is. So look at startups, research positions, nonprofits, even government jobs. You never know where you'll find the perfect fit.
So keep an open mind. And she also had some specific advice for those just starting out, right?
Yeah, she said mastering at least one programming language is crucial. Python or R, those are the big ones.
I've heard Python is kind of the go-to for AI and data science.
It is, and that's what they use in NYU's data science program. But the key is to really become fluent in whichever language you choose, build a solid foundation.
So you can actually build things, not just copy and paste code from online.
Exactly. And she encouraged people to go beyond just using pre-built libraries and tools, like really understand the principles of AI and machine learning, the math and stats behind it all.
So it's not just about being a coder, it's about understanding how it all works under the hood.
Exactly. And that part about understanding the fundamentals, it really stuck with me. It's a reminder that AI isn't just black boxes and magic algorithms. It's based on scientific principles, math, and a deep understanding of how data can be used to solve problems. And Sumedha's own journey really shows that. She didn't shy away from the hard work, mastering those foundational concepts, and you can see how it's paid off for her in this fast-moving field.
Yeah, it's like she built her career on a solid foundation, and now she can adapt to whatever comes next.
Exactly. And it's not just about her technical skills, it's her passion for the ethical and social side of AI, too.
Yeah, we've talked a lot about the technical stuff, but AI is going to have a huge impact on society. We can't forget about that.
Absolutely. It's not just about building smarter machines, it's about using those machines to make our lives better, to solve the big problems, make the world a more fair and just place. And Sumedha totally gets that.
She doesn't just see AI as a tool, she sees it as this force that can shape society, for good or for bad.
And she's committed to using her knowledge and influence to make sure it's used for good, which is really admirable.
It is. So I guess the question is, how do we prepare for this future where AI is, like, everywhere?
Well, Sumedha had some interesting thoughts on that. She said we need to embrace lifelong learning, get comfortable with the fact that technology is always changing. It's not about fearing the unknown. It's about being curious, being willing to explore, and, step outside our comfort zones.
Yeah, it's easy to feel overwhelmed by all this new stuff coming at us all the time. But it sounds like she's saying, lean into it. Be open to it.
Exactly. And she even talked about how she's trying to improve her own life and career by focusing on those deeper connections, having meaningful conversations, connecting with people from different backgrounds, different industries, just getting those different perspectives.
It's like in this world of constant information overload, she's making a conscious effort to focus on the things that matter, the things that spark new ideas.
And she specifically mentioned being really interested in how AI is intersecting with other fields like journalism, economics, even the arts. It's about recognizing that AI isn't just this isolated thing, it's changing everything.
Right.
And she's actively looking for those connections, those places where AI can spark new creativity, new collaborations, new innovations.
That's really cool. It's like the possibilities are endless. AI helping to create new art forms, tell stories in new ways, connect people across cultures.
It's exciting. And it reminds us that the future of AI isn't just about, building smarter machines. It's about how we use those machines to enhance our lives, to solve problems, to make the world a better place.
And speaking of solving problems, Sumedha's work in fraud detection is especially relevant in the financial world, with fintech and all that.
Oh, absolutely. Fintech has been all over AI from the very beginning, using it to automate stuff, analyze data, make better decisions. And Sumedha is right there in the thick of it, leading AI initiatives at a micro investments firm and always looking for new ways to use AI to get better financial outcomes.
But she's also realistic about it, right?
Right.
Not every AI solution is actually a good solution.
Totally. She warned against falling into that trap, the shiny object syndrome, chasing after the latest buzzwords without really thinking it through. What's the actual need? What's the cost? Are there any unintended consequences? She really encourages businesses to ask tough questions, understand what's going on under the hood, make sure the data is being handled responsibly.
It's like, don't just buy the hype. Do your homework.
Exactly. And she even said that sometimes the simplest solution is the best, even in the world of finance, which can get super complex. It's about using AI strategically to help humans do their jobs better, not to completely replace them.
Makes sense. And speaking of helping humans, her work in natural language processing, or NLP, is really fascinating. We touched on it earlier, but it's such a big area with so much potential.
She's super passionate about how NLP can be used to understand human language, extract meaning from text, even create new forms of creative expression. She's working on a ton of different applications, from analyzing financial documents and social media data to automating tasks and providing personalized recommendations. It's mind-blowing.
It is. And I think NLP is going to be even more important as we generate more and more data. We need AI to help us make sense of it all, especially when it comes to language, which is how we communicate, how we understand the world.
Totally. And Sumedha sees NLP as one of the biggest drivers of AI innovation in the years to come. But she's also aware of the potential downsides. bias. We talked about that earlier with the loan applications.
Right, because if these language models are trained on biased data, they'll just perpetuate those biases.
Exactly, and that can have real consequences in all sorts of areas. Credit scoring, hiring, even criminal justice. It's a big deal.
So how do we fix that? Is it even possible to create AI systems that are truly fair and unbiased?
Well, Sumedha is a big advocate for building bias detection and mitigation into the development process from the very beginning. She thinks we need to be able to measure fairness, have clear metrics for evaluating bias, and constantly monitor these models to make sure they're making fair decisions. It's about responsibility and accountability, building systems that reflect our values.
So it's not enough to just build cool tech, you have to build it the right way.
Exactly, and she's putting those principles into practice in her own work, especially in healthcare, where she's exploring how these large language models, the LLMs, can actually revolutionize how we care for patients.
Yeah, she mentioned being really interested in how they can be used to analyze medical records, help with diagnoses, even personalized treatment plans, which is incredible.
It is. Imagine if AI could help doctors make faster, more accurate diagnoses, or even predict and prevent diseases before they develop.
That would be amazing. But, you know, there are obviously concerns about privacy and security when it comes to AI and healthcare.
Oh, for sure. And Sumedha gets that. She totally recognizes how sensitive medical data is and how important it is to keep it safe. She believes AI can transform healthcare, but it has to be done thoughtfully, ethically, with the patient's well-being at the forefront.
Okay, that's reassuring. It sounds like she's approaching this with a lot of care. And her research at NYU Langone, especially her work on AI and neurosurgery, that's like the cutting edge.
It is. It's a field with really high stakes, and AI has the potential to make a huge difference.
It's amazing to think about, and it just reinforces the idea that AI isn't just about building smarter machines. It's about using technology to make people's lives better.
Exactly. And you can see that in Sumedha's work. It's all about the human impact.
She seems driven by a real sense of purpose. Like she wants to use her skills to actually make a difference in the world.
Totally. And it comes through in her passion for using AI to address those big societal challenges, like improving healthcare in underserved communities, making sure everyone has access to quality education, creating AI systems that are fair and inclusive.
Yeah, we haven't talked much about that yet, how AI can be used to make the world a more equitable place.
Well, she's a big believer in responsible AI development, making sure these technologies are empowering people, not making things worse. She sees AI as a way to level the playing field, to create opportunities for people who've been left behind.
Right, because technology can either reinforce existing inequalities or help to break them down. It depends on how we use it.
Exactly, and she's working with organizations that are using AI for social good, showing that it can be a powerful force for positive change.
It's inspiring to see how she's using her platform to advocate for a more just world, a world where AI is used to lift people up, not hold them back.
It's about aligning AI with social impact goals, using technology to tackle the biggest challenges we face as a society. And Sumedha's leading by example, showing that innovation and social responsibility can go hand in hand.
And she's also a big advocate for getting more women into AI and tech, right?
No, absolutely. She's very vocal about that. It's a field that's been dominated by men for way too long, and she's working to change that. Mentoring other women, speaking at conferences, sharing her story to inspire the next generation.
It's so important to have those different voices, those different perspectives, especially as AI becomes more and more powerful.
Totally. And her success is a testament to what women can achieve in this field. They're pushing boundaries, innovating, shaping the future of AI.
So as we're wrapping up this part of the discussion, what would you say are the key takeaways for our listener?
I think the biggest takeaway is that AI isn't something that's going to happen in the future. It's here now. It's evolving super fast, and it's already having a huge impact on our lives.
And it's not just about the tech, it's about how we use it, the values we build into it, the kind of future we want to create.
Sumedha's journey shows us that we all have a role to play in shaping that future. Whether you're a tech expert, a business leader, or just someone who's curious about the world, you can be part of this AI revolution.
So be curious, be informed, get involved. Because the future of AI is being written right now. And we all have a chance to be part of the story. You know, it's really inspiring to see how Sumedha has taken her passion for social good and like woven it into her AI work.
It is, yeah. It's like a reminder that this tech, it can be a force for good, you know, if it's guided by the right people.
And it's not just talk, she's out there actually doing things.
Oh, yeah. Like she mentioned working with organizations that are using AI to like bring healthcare to rural areas.
Oh, that's huge.
Right. Places that don't have a lot of doctors, specialists, all that. Imagine an AI that could, like, diagnose basic stuff or even just give advice.
It would change so many lives. Sometimes we get so caught up in the cool AI stuff like self-driving cars, but it's these basic needs. That's where the real impact is.
Absolutely. And she's also working on projects using AI for education.
Okay, yeah, that's a big one.
Like, imagine AI tutors that can tailor lessons to each student, you know? Everyone learns differently.
Oh, that's amazing. Especially as, like, everything becomes more and more tech-driven.
Right. We need to make sure everyone has a chance to learn no matter what their background is.
So true. And she also talked about making AI systems more inclusive,
Yeah.
right?
So they benefit everyone, not just a select few. And one of the keys to that is having diverse teams building these systems.
Yeah, that makes total sense. If the people creating the AI don't represent the whole world, then the AI won't either.
Exactly. And she also talked about needing more transparency.
Okay, what does that mean?
Basically, we need to be able to understand how these AI systems are making decisions, hold them accountable.
So it's not enough to just build cool tech, you got to build it responsibly.
Right, and Sumedha's work really embodies that. She's not just an AI expert, she's like a leader, an advocate, someone who's using her skills for good.
It's pretty inspiring, honestly, to see someone who's so passionate about both the tech and the human side of it.
Absolutely. And her story shows that we all have a part to play in shaping the future of AI. It's not just up to the big tech companies.
So what can our listeners do? Where can they learn more, get involved?
Well, she actually encouraged people to reach out to her.
Really? How?
Through her website, LinkedIn, even her NYU email. It's eas.rai@demu.edu. She seems really open to connecting with people who are passionate about AI and, you know, using it to make a difference.
I love that. And of course, everyone should go back and listen to that full interview on the About That Wallet podcast, episode 286.
Yeah, we'll definitely put a link in the show notes. And if you're enjoying these deep dives and want to support Anthony Weaver in his mission, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel on YouTube, your favorite podcast app, wherever you're listening.
Yeah, we really appreciate the support. And you can also sign up for their newsletter at aboutthatwallet.com, newsletter to stay up to date on all things personal finance. So as we wrap up this whole AI deep dive, what are the big takeaways here?
I think the main thing is AI isn't something that's coming in the future. It's already here. It's changing things fast, and it's affecting all of us.
And it's not just about the tech. It's about the choices we make, the values we instill in these systems, the kind of world we want to create.
Sumedha's story shows that we all have a say in that. We can choose to be passive, or we can step up and help shape the future of AI.
It's like the future's being written right now.
Exactly. So let's make sure it's a good one.